March, I've sneaked into a top secret VR facility in China to see the future of VR sim racing and understand there's some brand new software here that hasn't been seen before and also some changes to a top of the range sim racing VR headset. So let's go inside. This is Pimax. I'm in Shanghai and there's some crazy like security to come in, but we've unlocked it. And this is actually the Pimax office. So if you're wondering like how your sim racing headsets get made, this is how it is. Obviously we have the Lucky Cat, which I do want to buy one and take back. And in their reception, they have different flight sims here, you can see, but obviously we're going to show you the sim racing. But just to explain, Pimax make these headsets. And I've never actually flown in something like this, I think, but it looks like some torture contraption, but also fairly sick, I have to say. And they've got something here that I think you strap into and you wear those shoes and then you walk around. But you're about to see the beastliest sim rig you've ever seen. That's a little bit of a white lie. This is the sim rig that Pimax have prepared. Now, there's one thing that stands out here because it's white, which is a headset, but also because it's the best piece of equipment on this rig, although it's not a different competition. But this is what I'm going to test now. This is Pimax Evo, and this software has stuff in it that I've been asking for years, actually. So there's a few particular things I want to show you, but the first thing is obviously the software looks better, looks more modern than Pimax Play. So if you have a Pimax headset, you're using Pimax Play and it's like getting a bit outdated, this one looks newer. So I'm going to try and get to this mouse here and show you what I want to do. So if you are a sim racer and you have a Pimax headset, I think hopefully if the software's stable, then you should download this and do these two things. So firstly, you can see here that the refresh rate is 90. We've got auto on the render quality and there's like a preview here. This is the big one, okay? This is the crop. So this will make your performance better. Now, you can crop horizontally, but I wouldn't do that. That's kind of dumb in my view. I would do the vertical field of view. And I'm going to go something like, I'm going to go 35% on the vertical field of view. That should mean that I'm saving 35% of the pixels. So you can see that there's what, 17.5% on the top, 17.5% at the bottom. Now that's just going to be roof if I'm driving a GT3, which we've got Lemon Ultimate here, and this is going to be like the bottom of the cockpit. So this is what I want to see and that's what I'm preserving. So that's pretty cool. This is like a must-have setting. I've actually done this before, but not in the Pimax software. I've had to use like a mod. You can see here as well, there's upscaling, which we don't have, but you could mess around with upscaling at FSR NIS. You could see the IPD stuff, that's nothing special. Personalization, nothing special. This is the other big one, in my opinion. This is screen recording, and we're going to see whether it works. Because if the screen recording is not good, then you'll see it, and if it is good, you will see it. So this is what we've got the settings on, 1440p, 60 FPS, the bit rate's at 30. You know what, I'm going to up the bit rate. Let's put it to 40 for you guys, and I'll render this video at 40. You can choose, I guess, where it's going to record. Is it left eye, right eye, or both eyes? And you can choose the video aspect, which I'll keep as original, and hopefully that's going to be okay. Maybe it will show the crop, I'm not sure, but you can also have here, actually this is like an ultra wide, or you can have it for portrait. So it's meant to save here. Let's see if it's going to save there. I'm going to ask them to save it once I jump onto the rig. But these are two massive options that should just be good quality of life. Like, if this software is stable, then I would recommend that you actually put it on. But to test it in China, in Shanghai, in the secret VR facility, I'm going to do it right now. This is the relatively new Pimax Dream Air with the, not the slam tracking, with the inside-out cameras. So this does not need a lighthouse. So at the moment, I've reviewed a Pimax Dream Air non-slam one, and you need to have your lighthouse looking at it, and it can be a little bit fiddly. Personally, I prefer the inside-out tracking. It just means this is like a one piece. You don't do anything else. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump in the rig. Right, I'm going to be very honest, because I need to be honest. There's been 10 minutes to get to this point. Quite a lot of that has been due to my very bad Chinese and a little bit language barrier, mainly to do with getting the floor level. However, some of it is, it's not all plug and play yet. Like, you know, that's the nature of VR. I wish it was just more plug and play. I wish you put it on, it automatically was the right height and everything. It could kind of see where the floor is. We need to get there, but we are here now. So we are in Shanghai, China, in Pimax offices, and we're trying this new vertical crop to see what that feels like with performance, and also what the tracking is like on this Pimax Dream Air with the SLAM. So again, a lot of this video is me looking at the software, seeing if it has the features that I want to have. Now we're going to test it, and the reason why I think software is so important is because the panels are like very good quality, the headset's light, it has to be about software now. So let me tell you what I see. I can see right now, I can't see all of the GT3 logo on my wheel. So when I'm looking ahead, I can't see all of the G3 logo, if you want to understand how the crop is. And on the top, I can't even notice the crop because the top of the cockpit is just black. So you could, if you want to see all of the logo on the wheel, you could reduce that crop from 35 to 30% or something. But at the moment, I should be getting almost like 35% extra performance because I'm just rendering 35% less frames. So I quite like this. Probably I would go a little bit taller, like what I can see, but it's fine. It does still feel a bit goggly, like I can feel curves around the bottom here of my eyes, and that is not what you get on triple monitors at the moment. On triple monitors, if you set them up like I have mine set up, they kind of go behind your vision, so you have like full peripheral. But this is absolutely fine for me for the 3D effect, being in like a 3D environment, doing VR sim racing. When it comes to the tracking, it seems pretty smooth to me. The frame rate seems pretty smooth, but I think we could get a bit smoother, so maybe we could do a bit more tweaking. It looks like the resolution is quite high, but I can see that the mirrors in the car are not on, so there's some visual settings in Le Mans Ultimate that we could tweak. It would be good to have mirrors on in VR, and then maybe we compromise something else, and it would be great to have a stable 90. Maybe the recording will show. And that's the other part of this video, which is how is the recording? Does the recording look good? If the recording looks good, then this software is probably something that you should try if you're on a Pimax headset. I don't want to call it a game changer versus monitors or a game changer versus other headsets. What I would say is that if you're on a Pimax headset, being able to crop now in the Evo software is probably a game changer on Pimax. And also potentially being able to record. Now I normally record in OBS, which can be a little bit frustrating sometimes when you're trying to capture VR. If this is easier and the quality is good at 40 megabits a second, then maybe I will use that also. I have to say that even though this rig is, let's be honest, janky, like this G29 and the pedals and my angle of the seat, when you're in a VR headset, you kind of forget what wheel you're using. It's a little bit crazy. I'm not trying to pretend this is like a Fanatec podium or anything like that, but I feel like this is a much better experience using this equipment than if I had a screen, which is quite interesting. So what I want to do now is I want to show you actually inside the lens a little bit. Right, let's have a look. Sam, see if you can get through the lens. It's very difficult to do. So this is through the lens footage. Can you see it clearly?
Yeah,
you might need to tap the screen. Tap the screen so it's focused. This is very difficult, very frustrating between cameras.
Made it worse. Made it a billion times.
Okay. Well, how does it look?
It looked better before I tapped
There you go.
the screen.
There's cars going through.
Yeah, we're good.
So that's what it looks like inside the screen. I know like through the lens footage is always really popular. So my impressions are, honestly, of this setup is that I like the vertical crop. I like that. It's just a slider. I like that you can record in the software. However, I haven't seen the recording yet. We'll have to do that. I like the lightness of the headset. However, I wish maybe the cable, it was a bit nice from the cables. I see it's a split cable. Maybe I still prefer on one side or something. I'm not sure. And just generally when it comes to running in VR, I wish that maybe it's possible with the SLAM that we have here, if it could just work out the height so we didn't have the calibration stuff. But generally, when you get it working, quite a good experience. I would say quite a good experience. It's like, it elevates the quality of this hardware, the feeling of the quality of this hardware, which is impressive. It's actually quite an interesting concept to take top of the range headset and put it on quite basic equipment, actually. So, but yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on the software, on the headset. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. And it's been pretty cool to try this out in Pimax in China.